I've interviewed over 200 entrepreneurs, but here's the top 5 lessons I've learned that have dramatically impacted me and my business. Now, these have impacted me. Hopefully, they impact you. If you get any value from this, please like and subscribe. All right, let's get into it. Now, once again, I'm Alex, owner of Hustle, host of Hustle, and today I really want to highlight that number one, we're doing a podathon. This is a month-long series of episodes where we deliver value every single episode. So if you haven't already subscribed, please do that. All right, and number two, watch to the end because the last one has a lot of value in it. All right, let's jump into it. So, number one, when you are watching the news, you are watching the past. When you get entrepreneurs together in a room, you are now witnessing the future. This comes from Paul C. Brunson. He had the opportunity of working with 2 billionaires. Now he's working with his third, Stephen Bartlett, with Flight, Flight Podcast. So big up to Paul C. Brunson. Once he dropped this, my mind exploded. So this is what he mentioned. When he was working with Oprah and another billionaire by the name of Enver Yücel, a German billionaire, he mentioned that they both did the exact same thing. They both had meetings and sessions with other entrepreneurs. And I was like, that's interesting. They both did the same thing, yet they have no relation to each other. And the reason is just like I said, when they get together, they can ask each other, what's going on in your industry? What's going on in your industry? And together they can predict what's going to happen in the future because they're working towards different but common goals. So that's number one. Billionaires predict the future by the people around them. So the question for you is, how often are you meeting with the entrepreneurs, thought leaders in your niche or outside of your niche that you can learn from? This is one of the reasons why I do the pod, because it allows me to network and meet new people who can tell me where the puck is going before it arrives there. Number two, travel equals time travel. This sounds crazy, but trust me, let me land. Travel equals time travel. I learned this from Dragon's Den actually. So, travel equals time travel means when you take the time to exit your current city, state, country, and go to another country, you have the ability to see who's in front of the other when it comes to what's happening in the future. For example, there's a business called a Rent Frock Repeat. They traveled to the US, to New York, and noticed that there's a trend of women renting dresses and returning them as a business. And she came back to Toronto and noticed that there was no business like that here. So because of that, she was able to be first to market by traveling to New York. So travel equals time travel. She was allowed to be first to market by traveling outside of her normal geography. Now, you can do this without even traveling now, because with the internet, you can see what's happening on the ground outside of your geography. So that can really impact the way you're moving within your business outside. So ways to do this is to create mind maps where you have information from businesses outside of your geography and seeing what they're doing to drive traffic to the business, how they're maintaining their business, and how they're growing their business. And that way, you can leverage that to yourself to compete outside of your geography. So while everyone's looking around them, you're looking outside to gain a competitive edge. All right, number three, sales is a volume game. I got this from a past podcast guest, Mario Castello. He is a sales expert, and honestly, it's something that I needed for myself, and I still need to hear every single day. Sales is a volume game. That means you need to be understanding if you pitch 100 people, how many of them will then become a discovery call? How many of those discovery calls will then become offers, and how many offers close? If you don't have those numbers, you need to understand those numbers and optimize for the close rate. So you can now know, all right, if we're not hitting 100 discovery calls or 100 emails sent out, we need to go and do that. It gives so much more clarity to how you're building your business, because without that, you're like, all right, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? You know, having those numbers behind you gives you so much more peace. Without it, it feels like you have a million tabs open and you're running around not knowing how to get business to your business. All right, let's move on to the next one. Number 4, block out noise. This comes from Pierre Laguerre, another guest on the show. I'll link this one down below as well. He has an amazing episode where he talks about recovering from brain surgery. He was jumped in Brooklyn and needed to find a way to get back into his focus. And his main cause was just blocking out noise, blocking out his health in terms of what he couldn't control and focusing on what he could control. It's a simple reminder, honestly, very simple, but it's extremely effective. How much noise are you blocking out? Could you quantify how much noise you blocked out today? This is something that I personally need to follow through on, and trust me, I ain't close to perfect at all, dog. Like, I'm just gonna be honest with you. So ask yourself, how much noise have I blocked out today? All right, let's get into the next one. This one comes from Mario Armstrong. This is number 5. We're closing strong. This is going to be a quick pod, but make sure you have subscribed. I'm gonna keep bringing the subscribe up because we're trying to grow this channel. You know, right now we're at 9.12 subscribers. I'm trying to get 10K by the end of the year. All right, let's end strong. This is by 2-time Emmy award-winning entrepreneur Mario Armstrong. He was on the podcast 2 times, and he had this point that reigned so true. If you don't have a good offer, everything else is just fluff. If you don't have a good offer, everything else is just fluff. I want you to always test how many people react positively to your offer. You should have 30 to 40% of people give pushback to your offer. That's how you know you are at the maximum price to value for your offer. If you have less people that are giving you pushback, you probably are too cheap. If you have people giving you more than that, then you are probably too expensive. So that's the way to test how valuable your offer is, so you can make the most dollars towards your offer. Now I'm gonna give you a bonus one that has helped me dramatically. Now that is the traffic game. How much traffic are you driving to your platform? I specifically leverage Facebook. That's my thing because I know Facebook ads in and out. But how much traffic are you generating to yours? Do you have organic, paid? Do you have SEO in mind? What are some of the strategies you're using to drive traffic to your business? The number one thing I could tell you if you're ever thinking about paid is the 5-point strategy. Hook, social proof, problem, social proof again, call to action. That's it. And that will always drive traffic to your platform. I've used it myself, and now the business is worth at least 6 figures if I was to sell it. So I hope this brings value to you. Always remember, the hustle is what you can't control. So control your grind and control your life. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.